Hello, Noah here, and welcome to a completely biased Ace Attorney case tier list. I also have this over here. Hold on, let me put my mouse on screen, just so y'all can see it. Yeah, y'all can see my cursor. Okay, so, yeah, this is going to be completely biased. I also have this game one over here. We're going to rank the games after we go through the cases. So, let's go ahead and start out. Let me explain the tiers, actually. So we have Peak Ace Attorney at the top tier. Those are the best cases in the series. Almost Perfect, which is, self-explanatory. The case is almost perfect. We have Fantastic next. It's a fantastic case. And I think I might change that to Amazing. And then we have the good tier, where it's kind of middle of the road. It's a good case. Nothing bad, nothing good. And then we have the meh, it's aight tier, which is basically just like, it's an alright case. And then we have base Ace Attorney. And, like base of a mountain, peak of a mountain. These are the cases which are the worst in the series. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and start. So, first, we have the first turnabout. Now, this case, I'm going to slap it in. It's a pretty good case. It's a very good intro case. You learn the mechanics. You learn who Phoenix and Mia are. You, unfortunately, learn who Larry is. And he does pop up every now and again. He's kind of an annoying character, but all in all, it's a very good case. When you learn the contradiction about the clock being 9 hours off. It's pretty satisfying. So yeah, I'm going to say it's a pretty good case. It's just it's just a good case, I guess. Should this be pretty good then, maybe? Should I have another tier? Maybe I should have another tier. I don't know if this is enough. We'll keep going, and if I think I need to make another tier, then I'll make another tier. But let's go ahead and move on to Turnabout Sisters. I'm going to say that this case is also good, and it's just ahead of the first Turnabout. Now, that is because, I like the mystery. I don't really like how the killer is revealed in it, but it's fine. It's whatever. But, my main problem with this case, it would go in Amazing, but there is one problem. The fact that Mia comes back at the end to save the entire case. You don't get to save it, Mia does, and I find that incredibly frustrating. I don't think that's how it should be. I feel like Phoenix should be able to solve this one on his own, but no, Mia just comes in, brings out a list of a bunch of people who have been blackmailed and screwed over by Red White, and then you win the case. I find that incredibly anticlimactic. Okay, next we have Turnabout Samurai, and I'm going to say that this case is amazing. It gets too much hate. I think it's really good. You get more character development. You get more character development for Edgeworth. He gets to learn how he wants to find the truth and not just get every defendant declared guilty. He gets to help you out in the end, and that's very satisfying. And I don't really have much to say other than that. I do think that it's a bit too long. I don't think that there needed to be a third investigation and third trial day. I think it could have been done in just 2 days, but that's really a minor complaint. It doesn't really bother me too much. So next, let's go to Turnabout Goodbyes. I think that's what it's called. I have shit memory. You guys know this. But I'm going to give Turnabout Goodbyes Peak Ace Attorney. One of the best cases in the series. Really satisfying mystery, really satisfying villain to take down, Edgeworth character development, a lot of really good stuff in this case, and I love Yanni Yogi, one of my favorite characters. But it also has one of my least favorite characters, a lot of heart, so you take and you give and you take. You take what you can get and you, I don't know what I was saying there. But anyway, it's Peak Ace Attorney. It's really good. Okay, now we have Rise from the Ashes. This is the only case that is not entitled Turnabout, whatever, which is kind of odd, but I'm going to say it's definitely Peak Ace Attorney, but I don't think that it's it's slightly better. Like, depending on the day and what my mood is, these two could either shift, like, either way. But for right now, I'm going to say that it's better. This is mainly because of Damon Gant. If Damon Gant wasn't in this case, it would probably go down to almost perfect or even amazing. But Damon Gant, I wouldn't say he carries the case because there are other great characters like Jake Marshall. But Damon Gant really he really makes this case, in my opinion. Really satisfying mystery. I really like Lana Skye and I really like Emma Skye. So yeah, it's a very satisfying mystery, and it has this case kind of has like a really dreadful and kind of gloomy atmosphere to it, which I really enjoy. So now that we've put every case in the first game on the tier list, we're going to go to this game's tier list, and I'm sorry that this is cropped kind of weird. If I could have it, if I could crop it correctly for both tier lists, that would be great, but I can't. So we're going to slap this straight into A tier. It only really has one disappointing case, in my opinion, which is the second case, and it doesn't really bother me that much, and the cases are pretty well connected for the most part, except for the third case. The third case is kind of out of nowhere, but it helps build up that character development for Edgeworth, and yeah, it does all that. Yeah, I'm going to slap Ace Attorney 1, Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney in A tier. So now let's go into Justice for All. So the first case, the Lost Turnabout, I think is what it's called. Meh, it's aight. I mean, I will say it is kind of cool how they do the tutorial. They basically just throw a fire extinguisher at Phoenix's head and say, hey, well, what if we have players who are playing this game for the first time? We need to give them a tutorial, right? So they just give Phoenix amnesia and they make him relearn everything. And that's kind of the only positive I really have to say about the case, because the rest of the case is kind of meh, whatever. The villain is kind of funny, though. I will say that. And next we have Reunion and Turnabout. I would say that this case is almost perfect. It's really good. I like Pearl. I like the villain of the case. I can't remember her name. It was Eeny Miny Miny Mo or something. I don't know. But I really enjoy her as the villain. Morgan Fay is a pretty cool antagonist as well. This really, gives some lore and world building on the Fay clan and what it's like. And Francisca, I'm going to be honest, I don't really like Francisca as a character because she doesn't really have much except for getting angry easily and whipping people. Those are like her two main character traits, I guess. And I don't really like her that much, but that's neither here nor there. But Reunion and Turnabout as a case itself is really good. And I will say that Francisca's introduction is pretty good. And next we have Turnabout Big Top. Now this one, it's not base Ace Attorney. It's not that bad. I would say that it is actually better than the Lost Turnabout. It's not that bad, guys, okay? Listen. I will say the love triangle between Regina, Ben, and Max is really weird, and the mystery really pulls a lot of bullshit with the flying bust and Max's flying bust and busts everywhere. I don't enjoy it. But it's not that bad. I find Mo pretty tolerable, even though the one testimony where if you press, you get penalized. That's pretty stupid, but that is pretty stupid, but overall, it's a pretty alright case. I like it. Well, I wouldn't say it's good enough to go in good, but it's aight. It has a lot of really low lows, but it has like a couple of highs. I do like Max a little bit. And I find the judge's dialogue in this case very funny, from what I remember. Now we have Farewell My Turnabout. Peak Ace Attorney. I don't care. It's really good. I would say... hot take, I like Turnabout Goodbyes more than Farewell My Turnabout. But Farewell My Turnabout is really good. I like the setting of the hotel or the resort or whatever it is. I like that it brings back like the Steel Samurai and stuff like that. Well, the Steel Samurai really isn't in the case. It's just the Jammin' Ninja and the Nickel Samurai, I think. But I really like how the stakes are extremely high in this case. Maya's kidnapped. You need to defend this guy, and you need to get a full acquittal for him, not guilty. And then you go questioning, well, what if he really did it? But he says he didn't do it, and my Magatama didn't react. He must be innocent. And then he reveals himself, and it turns out he actually did do it. He just hired an assassin to do it for him. So technically, he'd never lied. But now you have to defend a guilty man with Maya's life on the line, and like that last trial is extremely stressful, and I love it. All right, so now that we've done that, I'm going to put Justice for All in B tier. It has 2 pretty forgettable cases, and then it has 2 really good cases. So it kind of just middles out, middle of the road. It's just B tier. Now let's move on to Trials and Tribulations. So, Turnabout Memories. I think that's what this one is called. I'm going to put this one in good tier. It's a pretty good first intro case. I really like it. You get to learn about Mia Fey. You get to see a young Edgeworth, baby Edgeworth. And, wait, no. No, baby Edgeworth is this case. I'm forgetting. This is just Winston Payne. It's alright. It's not alright enough to go in I, but it is a good case. You get introduced to Dahlia Hawthorne, who is a pretty good villain. And you learn that Mia and Dahlia have actually met before in another case, and your mind gets thinking, like, what happened in that case? And then you finally learn in 3-5, but we will get to that, trust me. All right, now we have the Stolen Turnabout. I'm going to say this one is amazing. Better than Turnabout Samurai. Luke Atme is an extremely fun villain. And the mystery itself is pretty cool. Basically, it's not even a murder case. You tackle a larceny case at first, and then it turns into a murder case, which is a really interesting premise, in my opinion. But that's all I really have to say about the Stolen Turnabout. Next, we have Recipe for Turnabout. This one, I also think is pretty overhated. I would say I do enjoy it more than Turnabout Samurai. I mainly love it because of Furio Tigre. Furio Tigre is one of my favorite Ace Attorney villains. He's so funny and so entertaining whenever he's on screen. And I also like Viola Cadaverini. She's pretty cool as well. I don't really like the old man. I can't remember his name. Victor Kudo, I think. I don't really like him. But overall, I think the case is pretty entertaining, and I also really like that Phoenix gets Furio Tigre by making a bluff, saying, "This is the poison bottle they used to kill the victim." And then Fiore's like, "No, I used this bottle." And then you get him. That's pretty good. I like that. Next, we have Turnabout Beginnings. I really enjoyed this case. It is a short case, but it is a very enjoyable one. I would put it in good. It's almost an amazing, but it's just a good case. I like Terry Falls. I like young Edgeworth and how dickish he is. He's just a giant asshole in this case. That's very entertaining, and I like how like in the back of your mind, you know that Edgeworth has never lost a case. This is before he met Phoenix and lost to him like 5 times in a row, 4 times in a row, whatever it is. And you're just thinking, well, there's no way that Mia's going to win this case because it would break continuity. And the way they do it is they have the defendant fucking kill himself. And that's a shocking ending. But it's amazing and I love it. You know what? I've convinced myself. It's going in amazing. And you just see how ruthless Dahlia Hawthorne is. Oh, I'm starting to get tired of talking. Oh my god. Oh boy. Oh, we still have so much to go. Alright, I'm going to take a break after I finish this next case. So, next we have Bridge to the Turnabout. This one is peak Ace Attorney. It's going straight to the top. You already know. First, you get to play as Miles Edgeworth as a defense attorney. That is fucking amazing, and you get to see his reaction to Psyche Locks. You get to see him fight against Francisca. It's very entertaining, and I also love how this case kind of wraps everything up in a nice little bow to wrap up the trilogy of games. It brings the Phase story to a close. It brings Phoenix's character arc to a close. It does a lot of things really well. The one thing I don't like is obviously Larry. I hate Larry. I don't really like that he's... Well, I don't really hate Larry. I just kind of dislike him. He kind of butts his way, pun fully intended, by the way, into cases where he doesn't belong. So, yeah. That's going to be it for Trials and Tribulations. So let's go to the tier list. And this is going to be the first S-tier game. I really enjoy all the cases. Even the one that I don't really feel the most for is which one is lowest on the list here? 3-1, Turnabout Memories. Even the one that's like the lowest in the tier list, it's still a good case. So this game is really good throughout its runtime. So yeah, I'm going to take a short break now, and we'll get back to it with Apollo Justice. We are back with Apollo Justice. So, the first case, almost perfect. Almost. The twist of Kristoff, your mentor, being the villain is amazing, and it's handled really well for the most part, but I do think that this is just like a personal opinion of mine, but I really think that Turnabout Corner should have been the first case. And then it either should have been Turnabout Corner, Turnabout Serenade, and then Turnabout Trump, or it should have been Turnabout Corner, then Turnabout Trump. Because I feel like you don't really get to know Kristoff before the twist happens. And that is one thing that I really don't like about Apollo Justice, the game, is that you don't really get to know the villain that well. That's kind of my main complaint about the game. You don't really get to know Kristoff or Clavier, for that matter. It's still a really good case, has a really good mystery. And again, the twist is very, very satisfying to uncover. Next, we have Turnabout Corner. I would say that this case is... I would say it's good, but below Turnabout Memories, but above Turnabout Sisters, because it's really cool how you get to satisfy a few crimes within one. You have to solve the murder, you have to solve who hit Phoenix with their car, and I think there was another crime they have to solve, but I can't remember. I can't remember a lot of these cases, but yeah, I think it's a pretty good mystery. I don't really like the defendant, but whatever. Doesn't really bother me that much. And Trucy's great. Clavier's great. It's a pretty good case. Next, we have Turnabout Serenade. This case is overhated. I don't know why people hate it so much. I mean, I do know why people hate it so much. But it's going to go in good just above Turnabout Memories. Now, this case is hated for quite a few reasons, including how the defendant is accused of murder when he's allegedly, this is before he gets revealed that he can actually see, but they see a murder of this giant man, this giant bodyguard, and they say, hey, you know what? The killer missed a few of his shots. That means it must be the blind kid who would probably, you know, fucking obliterate his shoulder by using this gun. And they mention that multiple times, by the way. They say, hey, this gun is powerful enough to dislocate your shoulder. So imagine what it might do to, like, a small child. And that's the most annoying part of the case. The fact that they suspect a blind kid of doing it, even when they say multiple times that using this gun would dislocate your shoulder. But I'm not as annoyed by it because that kind of just goes to show how corrupt the court system has gotten. So it doesn't bother me that much, but I still think it's a pretty cool case with its mystery and how it revolves around the show and how the killer tried to make it seem like the murder followed the lyrics, even though it didn't follow the lyrics, because they wanted to give themselves an alibi. I find that really cool. But yeah, it's a pretty good case in my opinion. I don't know. I mean, I get why it's hated, and there are stuff that I really fucking hate about it. There's stuff I really fucking hate about it, but it doesn't bother me that much. All right, last but certainly not least, we have Turnabout Succession. And I'm going to put this one in PK's Attorney. Now, that might be kind of a hot take, but I really enjoy this case. I love the Mason system. There are some things that I would do differently about it. I think it's kind of confusing how you're supposed to get through it. but in general, I think it's a pretty cool way to explain like what the jurists are seeing. They're seeing this investigation through Phoenix's eyes and how he got through it. And Kristoff's breakdown is one of my favorites in the series. I love him as a villain, and I so wish that he got more screen time. The last thing I'll say about this case is that they should not have gotten rid of the jurist system. They should have done something with it in Dual Destinies. I know that Dual Destinies is meant to serve as like a soft reboot, bring things back to basics, but they really should have brought the jurist system back. And that is something that I really enjoy about Conflict of Interest. I haven't really mentioned any of the fan games in this video so far, but in the fan games, or in Conflict of Interest specifically, they bring back the jurist system. Like Kylie Washington gets got through the jurist system, which I find really great. Rothpa actually used the jurist system that Apollo Justice set up. That's kind of the main thing that I dislike about Dual Destinies, and we're gonna get to that game in a second. But it seems like that game kind of reset everything that Apollo Justice kind of set up. Like, it tried to ignore as much as it could from Apollo Justice, and the things it couldn't ignore, like it couldn't ignore that Trucy exists, so they had to bring her back, and they barely have her in the game anyways. But that is kind of my main gripe with Dual Destinies, among other things, and we're going to get into that right now. But first, we're going to go ahead and put Apollo Justice in, I would say high B tier or low A tier. Right now, I'm feeling pretty good together. I've lost my ability to speak. I'm putting Apollo Justice in low A tier. It's a really good game. It's overhated. I really enjoy it. Okay. Next. Dual Destinies. I can't remember what this case is called. Turnabout Countdown, maybe? That sounds about right. It's aight. Yeah. I don't really feel much for this case. The villain's kind of cool, I guess, but Phoenix's return is a bit anticlimactic. Athena Sykes is a cool character, though. And Gaspin Payne, he's not as cool as Winston Payne. This case, whatever. Okay, next we have the Monstrous Turnabout. Base Ace Attorney. It's so fucking boring, holy shit. Florent LaBelle is a pretty interesting villain, but it's literally just dollar store red white, Walmart red white. Like, it's just the same thing. He's not entertaining. Well, he's slightly entertaining, but he's not really. I don't really feel much for Florent LaBelle. I don't really feel much for the witnesses either. It's not a very satisfying mystery. But I do think that Tin Mataro is a very... Tin Mataro, is that who... Hold on. Damien Tenma. He's a very cool defendant. I like him. And Jinxie Tenma is kind of a whatever character. I don't really care. Yeah, I also dislike how Trucy shows up once, and then she fucks off and leaves the case. That's not very cool. Next, we have Turnabout Academy, I think? This is an amazing case. I really like it. I like the relationship between Juniper... Fuck, what's his name? Hugh O'Connor and... What's her name? I can't remember her name right now. But the girl who pretends to be a guy. I really like the relationship between the three, and it really kind of pulls the case over for me. And I also like the witness, Scuttlebutt. She's pretty cool. And I also really like the villain. He's pretty entertaining, I can't lie. The ends justify the means. Of course they do. Next we have... Fuck, what's this one called? Cosmic Turnabout? Yeah, Cosmic Turnabout. It's a pretty short case, but I do enjoy it. It's a pretty good case. Yeah, I put it right about there. I'm also going to move Turnabout Serenade down. There we go. I think this is a pretty good case. It's pretty short, and the twist that Athena's fingerprints are on the lighter at the end is a pretty satisfying cliffhanger. And That leads nicely into Turnabout for Tomorrow, which is almost perfect. I would almost put it in PK's Attorney, but there is a problem with it. I don't like the Phantom. My problem with the Phantom is that because of the fact that Bobby Fulbright is already dead, and basically who we've been talking to has just been an emotionless shell of a person, just a regular-ass agent, I don't feel much. I don't feel much when that twist comes because, like, am I supposed to care? This guy is not Bobby Fulbright, the guy I've been getting to know. And this is why I think that Contempt of Court actually did this trope way better. Contempt of Court, spoilers for Contempt of Court, Robert Snow, Detective Robert Snow, turns out to be the villain of the whole game. And he doesn't turn out to be like, oh god, someone killed Detective Snow and some guy replaced him for about a year. No, it's Detective Snow. It's him. He's the villain, and you get to really feel that betrayal. And I think that's what this case is missing. But it isn't almost perfect for a reason, and that is because of everything having to do with Simon Blackwell and Athena Sykes. I think they are some of the best written characters in Ace Attorney. Especially Simon Blackwell. I love his story, and I love the fact that this goes back to the case of Athena's mom's death. There is also another thing I hate in this case. Aura Blackwell. I hate her. I don't really like her. She's kind of annoying. But overall, pretty good case. Almost perfect case, in fact. Next, we have the DLC case. I can't remember what this one is called, unfortunately. I'm stupid. Hold on. Turnabout Reclaimed. That's what it is. All right, so Turnabout Reclaimed. I really like this case. I think it's amazing. I'd say it's better than Turnabout Academy. Very entertaining case. I love how you have to fucking... I just imagine, like, this is the first case that Phoenix takes after he gets his badge back. And I just like to imagine this headcanon in my head where Edgeworth is just, like, scrolling through a newspaper or something, just looking through a newspaper, just sitting in his office. And then he gets a call from Gumshoe saying, "Hey, pal, Phoenix is back. He got his badge back." Oh, great. What case is he taking? He's defending a fucking orca? Like, it's just so funny to me when I think about that. How Edgeworth would react to Phoenix, his first case that he gets back. He gets his badge back. Like, it's the day of. He gets his badge back, and he decides to take a case and defend a fucking orca. But yeah, it's really entertaining. I like the witnesses. Pretty good case. So now let's put Dual Destinies in the tier list. Now that I'm thinking about it, I was going to put this game in C tier, but I don't think it's that bad. I think it's low B tier, below Justice for All. It's a pretty good game, like, overall, but there's some... It's mainly just the first two cases that really drag it down, and if the first two cases are bad, then I'm likely not... Like, I'm gonna be discouraged to continue playing the game. But... yeah. It's alright. It's alright. Okay, next... let's do Spirited Justice. The first case... Fuck, I forgot what it's called. The Foreign Turnabout. There we go. Sorry, guys. I just took some Benadryl. Anyway. Foreign Turnabout. I'm going to put it in good. And I'm going to put it... I'm going to put it above Turnabout Corner. It's a pretty good case, but it has an extremely long prologue, and it's just a very long case overall. I don't think it needed to be that long. But that's really all I have to say about this case. It's a pretty satisfying mystery, I guess, but it's just kind of basic-ass tutorial case. Next, we have the Magical Turnabout. Oh my god, almost perfect. And yes, I'm putting it above Turnabout for Tomorrow. This case is so good, man. It has a really satisfying mystery. The way that the crime was committed is extremely unique and impressive, and I love Roger Rettens, one of my favorite villains in the series. Extremely entertaining. He looks like Johnny Depp. But yeah, I really enjoy this case. I love how it puts attention on Trucy again, since she got completely shafted and ignored in Dual Destinies. Really love how the spotlight, pun intended, is put back on her for this case. Next we have... Hold on, guys. I'm going to remember what it's called. I can't remember what it's called. Hold on. The Rite of Turnabout. I would not have been able to remember that. Goddamn. The Rite of Turnabout. I really like this one. It's pretty amazing. I wouldn't say that... yeah, I'd say it's actually almost perfect. Now, let me get the negative out of the way. I fucking hate that Maya is the defendant again. I get it, guys. It's funny. She came back, and the first time that she sees Nick again in God knows how long, like at least a decade, she gets arrested for a crime again. At this point, in Ace Attorney 7, if she gets accused and becomes a defendant again, I'm just going to fucking assume she did it. Like, I don't think Phoenix cares enough. But I think that it's a pretty good case. It's a really emotional case, and I really love the end of it and how it kind of shows the flaws in the legal system of Khura'in. But that's all I really have to say about it. Oh, also, That's a Rebel. Love that character. He's hilarious. Next we have Turnabout Storyteller. This case is overhated. It's kind of needed for this game because it is a palate cleanser. I wouldn't say it's... let's see. Do I like it more than Recipe for Turnabout? No. Do I like it more than Turnabout Samurai? No. Turnabout Beginnings? No. Okay, it's going to go here. I like this case a lot. And that might be kind of a hot take, but it's a needed palate cleanser. You get back to Japanifornia, you get to play as Athena. God, I hope Ace Attorney 7 is centered around Athena Sykes. I hope she's the main character because she's needed some character development and some focus for a while. I like this case because Simon Blackwell as well. You get to play alongside him. I also like the witnesses as well. I also like the villain of the case. I can't remember her name, but the clown girl. I think she's pretty entertaining as a villain. Not for other reasons. But, yeah, I think that she's a pretty good villain, and I also like Uendo Tenedo, a very good representation of DID, dissociative identity disorder, at least from what I've heard. I don't have DID, so I don't know if it's actually super accurate, but for what I've heard from people who do have DID, it is actually pretty accurate. So, next we have Turnabout Revolution. I'm going to put there. It's almost perfect. There are quite a few problems with it. First of all, Nayuta Sadmati. I haven't mentioned him at all when I've been talking about Spirit of Justice, but he is the worst mainline prosecutor in the franchise. He's annoying, he doesn't let up, he's hypocritical, and he gets a shoved in last moment, completely rushed redemption arc at the end that I do not like at all. He really brings down this game, in my opinion. Like, if he wasn't as annoying as he is, if he was a slightly better character, I really think that Spirit of Justice would be a much better game. But the stuff with Dirk Sabmati and the stuff in Khura'in is really good. The stuff in Japanifornia with Phoenix going against Apollo, that's fucking stupid. Mainly because of the fact that Maya gets kidnapped again. She gets literally put in danger like 2 times in this fucking game. It's crazy. 3 times. Wait, no. It's just 2 times because she gets accused of murder and then gets kidnapped. But yeah, it's really fucking bothers me how Maya is treated in this game. Next we have the DLC, which is Turnabout Time Traveler. Hot take, I really like this case. I would even go as far to say that it is amazing. At the very back end of amazing, but it is amazing. I really like how this case goes back to roots. It's kind of a, what's the term? Pandering? No, not pandering. Cameos? No, not cameos. Fan service. That's what I'm looking for. It's a fan service case. It brings back Maya as your assistant, Edgeworth as the prosecutor. And to be honest, there is a few problems with it. Larry comes back, fucking Larry. And Edgeworth is really a dick in this case. He's like very much an asshole, and I don't really understand why. But yeah. What was I going to say? I've lost my train of thought yet again. Oh yeah, there's no Detective Gumshoe. That is the main mistake of this case. Detective Gumshoe should have come back. Okay, now to the positives. I love the love story here. The chemistry between... well, there's not really any chemistry, but I really dig the love story between Soren and... I think her name is Ellie. I really dig the love story there. And when Soren says that he thinks Ellie might have done it, that scene where she drops the flowers and she just has, like, the most heartbroken expression you could ever have. Like, it's fucking sad. But that's what makes it so good. And I really enjoy the mystery this case presents. Still don't like Larry, but him being in this case doesn't really bother me that much. So, yeah, I really like this case. Now, on to the No, wait, no, I need to rate the game. Spirit of Justice, I'm going to give this... Yeah, I'd say it's better than Apollo Justice. It does give Apollo Justice another backstory. And by the way, the backstories don't contradict each other. Stop spreading that around. That's misinformation. But I really like his backstory in this game. I don't like how much spotlight he gets. He takes it away from Athena, who should really be getting the spotlight. In the next game, hopefully in Ace Attorney 7, they give her more of a spotlight and more of a focus. But it's still a pretty good game from start to finish. The only case that I don't really like is, I mean, probably the first case. The first case is whatever, but the rest of the cases are pretty good. Now we have the investigations games. Okay. All right, the first case. Turnabout Visitor, I think is what it's called. It's aight. It's better than Turnabout Countdown, though. It's an alright case. It's alright. It's nothing special. Basic tutorial case. Jock Portsman. I think that's his name. He's a really entertaining villain. I like him. But yeah, nothing really special about this case. Next we have Turnabout Airlines, I think. This one is also going to go in meh. It's aight. It's not the best, not the worst. It's cool how it's set on a plane, though. Next we have... God, awful case. Oh my god. The Kidnapped Turnabout. Don't even get me started. I don't even know what to say about this one. It's set in fucking Badgerland, whatever, Badger World, Badger Park. I don't fucking care. The only good thing about this case is Lang and Kay. Next we have Turnabout Reminiscence. I like this case. It's pretty entertaining. But where would I put it? I would put it above that. Yeah, I'd put it there. It's pretty good. I like how it brings back a young Gumshoe, young Edgeworth on his first case. And you get to defend Gumshoe, and you get the backstory between Edgeworth, Kay, and Gumshoe. I also like that... I can't remember her name, but her last name is Yu. I like her as the villain. She's pretty entertaining. And the way she laughs is kind of funny. Next, we have Turnabout Ablaze. Now, this case is overhated in my opinion. I really don't think it's that bad. I would put it... I put it like... I put it there. It's a pretty good final case. Not the best. It's not the best final case. I think it is, in general, the worst final case in the series, but it is still a pretty good case, and the only thing that really brings it down is the final confrontation against Kirkus Kerberkus. It's just way too long, man. Like, give up. Give up already. Next, we have... Well, first we gotta rate the game. C tier. It's not the best game. It is, I would say in general, it's the worst game in the franchise. But hold on, I need to add something here. Add a row below. Let's change that to gray. Haven't played. Because I have not played the crossover game. I don't know what it is. But, yeah, let's go into investigations. Oh, wait, yeah, I gotta talk about this. It's a pretty good game. It's an alright game. It only has really 2 good cases. The first 3 are god-awfully boring. They're awfully boring. Oh, my God. Bro, they put me asleep. Not even Benadryl can make me that sleepy. But, now let's go on to investigations 2. First case, turnabout target. Fucking hell, man. Amazing. This case is a really good tutorial. I love Horace Knightley. He's a great villain. Nicole Swift is all right. Kay makes a great return. Gumshoe is also there. But Gumshoe is Gumshoe, and I love Gumshoe. He's pretty good in this case. And I love the President. I like the President. And the mystery is very satisfying. That final contradiction of, oh my God, he switched the guns, but he also reloads the bullets. His fingerprints must be on the bullets. Very satisfying way to end the case. Now we have the imprisoned turnabout. I would say that this case is pretty good, but I wouldn't say it's amazing. I would say that it is like right about there. Justine Courtney is very annoying in this case, but she's meant to be annoying. She's meant to be a very imposing and condescending antagonist. Sebastian DeBest, my beloved. I love that character so much. That's one of the main reasons this goes up in good. I like the fact that this case is set in a prison. That's very unique, and it's never been done before in this series. And I love the mystery and how it's built up and how you go from suspecting J. L. Bird to suspecting Sirhan Dogan. Sirhan Dogan is one of my favorite characters in the franchise, by the way. Love him. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about this case. I also like the villain. She's pretty cool. All right, we're almost done. Well, I mean, we got 1, 2, 3. We got 13 more cases to get through, but we'll get through it. We have the Inherited Turnabout. Holy shit, peak Ace Attorney. One of the best cases in the series. I would even go as far to... Well... I wouldn't say it's the best. We'll get to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles in a second. But for right now, it is the best case in the series for right now. And that is because of Gregory Edgeworth. He is my favorite part of this case. I love how the cases connect, and I love Catherine Hall. I love Dane Gustavia. I feel meh on Delicia Scones. I love Manfred von Karma in this game, or in this case. But what I really love is Gregory Edgeworth. I love how Gregory Edgeworth acts, how he, like, constantly worries about Edgeworth while he's going through this case. He's like, oh, maybe my son would enjoy this TV show that they're talking about. Maybe my son would love these chocolates. Like, it's just so sweet, so wholesome. He's a great dad. Or he was a great dad, I guess. But I love this case a lot. And I wish that we got to see more of Gregory Edgeworth. But what we got to see is great. And I also love that I love and hate that he's the only defense attorney in the series to actually abide by the smile in the face of danger. Like, his... what would it be called? His attacked sprite? Or his ouch sprite, where he gets contradicted? When he gets contradicted, he flies back and then he smiles. And he holds his hat in place. It's a really cool sprite, and it's a really cool detail that he's the only defense attorney to actually abide by the rule of smile in the face of danger. Next, we have the Forgotten Turnabout. This case is amazing. Fuck it, it's almost perfect. I love the use of amnesia in this case. Usually, I don't really like amnesia tropes, but I think it's handled really well here, and it gives Edgeworth a reason and a goal. He wants to protect Kay because I feel like those two have a pretty, like, father-daughter relationship, or maybe big brother, little sister. And he wants to protect her, so he's like, you know what? This badge is holding me back. fuck it, I'm putting this badge. You want my badge so badly? Take it. I don't need it. And that's a really important character moment because from the time we first saw him, all he cared about was getting every defendant declared guilty. And he has come so far in his character development that he's willing to put his badge, just give it up. He's willing to take his badge, put it on this pedestal, and leave it there. All in order to protect the people he cares about. And that is really beautiful. That said, I don't really like the setting of this case. It's kind of set up in an office building, or the prosecutorial investigation, I can't remember what it's called, the PIC building. It's kind of a boring location, but I do like the auction house, the warehouse where they sell a bunch of stuff. They sell previous items from other cases. All right, now we have the grand turnabout. Right there. Amazing. I love this case. No, I still think the Inherited Turnabout is better, but I love Sebastian the best character development here. I love how he progresses and he develops over the course of the game. And I love how he's the one to handle his father's trial. I love this case a lot. And I also love the stuff about, spoilers for Investigations 2, but if you're watching this video, I'm going to assume that you've watched or played every single case. Simon Keyes is a phenomenal Ace Attorney villain. I think my favorite Ace Attorney villain is probably Damon Gant. But Simon Keyes is definitely up there. Top 3 at least. He's a really entertaining villain, and in the end, he actually won. He got revenge on every single person he wanted to get revenge on. And he still got caught and imprisoned for his crimes. And in the end, Edgeworth's final villain was not the clown, but the entire circus. And now let's go on to rating Investigations 2. S-tier game. I would say that it is better than Trials and Tribulations because all the cases are interconnected, and there's a shit ton of foreshadowing in the first few cases, especially the Imprisoned Turnabout. There's a ton of foreshadowing in that case. And I think it's overall a better game from start to finish. Like, Trials and Tribulations has quite a few good cases, and then it has one phenomenal case, Bridge to the Turnabout. But this case has 2 phenomenal cases and then quite a few great cases. So now let's go on to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, or Daigyakuten Saibon, I think is what its Japanese name is called. The Adventure of the Great Departure, I think is what this case is called. And honestly, meh, it's aight. I don't like it that much. Mainly because, you know, I don't know how much of a hot take this is, but I really think it would have been cool to play as Cosmo for this case. To defend your friend. I think that might be kind of cool, but I understand why it was done this way. And the mystery itself is pretty satisfying to solve, I would say. And maybe the way I feel about this, maybe I feel kind of meh about this case because I have had to replay it quite a few times because I kept fucking up with recording. I've been recording this with Ren, and we kept having issues, or I kept having issues because my computer fucking hates me, and we had to re-record this case quite a few times. But yeah, I feel kind of meh on it. Now we have The Adventure of the Speckled Band, Unbreakable Speckled Band. Guys, hot take, this case is fucking amazing. I would even say it's almost perfect. I love the emotional connection in this case. Like, I will agree that there are quite a few boring parts in this case, but overall, the emotional connection of losing Cosma and that ending of learning that it was all just a big misunderstanding is heartbreaking. And that is what I love Ace Attorney for. It's storytelling and it's emotional, the ability that it has to tell very emotional stories. So yeah, I love this case a lot. Next we have The Adventure of the Runaway Room. And It is going in peak Ace Attorney. Where is it going to go? Yeah, I would say it goes there. This does the defendant is actually guilty trope extremely well. Like, throughout the case, you get this uneasy feeling that something isn't right. And then you explore the omnibus, and you learn that some stuff has been tampered with. And it's quite odd how stuff has been tampered with. And you're thinking, shit, what if the defendant is guilty? And then you start to go through the case, and you learn that he actually is fucking guilty. And there is nothing you can do about it. He gets declared not guilty. And at the end of it, he dies. He gets burned in a fire. And that is a way to end a case. Next, we have the adventure of the Clouded Kokoro. I would say it's a pretty good case. I really like that this case does a lot of world building with Pat and Rolla. Wait, were their names changed in the localization? I think their names might have been changed in the localization, but for now all I can remember is Pat and Rolla. I love their dynamic and how it shows how much the London Scotland Yard has to go through from a day-to-day basis. The whole reason that this case was kind of covered up a little bit is just because this one guy wanted to have a night out with his wife. That is so sweet and so sad. And I love the emotional connection with the emotional aspects of this case, not emotional connection. What am I talking about? And I don't really like Soseki as a character, but he doesn't bother me that much. Now we have the adventure of the Unspeakable Story. I couldn't read it there for a second. This case is almost perfect. Where am I going to put it, though? I'm going to put it here. I really like how Gina is the defendant, and she has to learn to trust others. I know it's a story that's been told many times. A person who is untrusting learns to trust others and learns to care about others. It's a story that's been told many times, but this story is told amazingly. I love how she's the defendant. I love how this connects back to the third case with Magnus McGilded. I really like this case. I also like the final villain. He's pretty sympathetic. Okay, let's rate the game. I'm going to say that it is better than the first Ace Attorney, but not S tier. It has a really slow pace, to be honest. It is pretty slow paced throughout its game, but that is just for the build-up to the climactic second game, which we'll get to in a second. Oh, shit, it's stuck. Well, we'll get to it in a second. But it's just a lot of build-up, but it is very satisfying in the way it builds stuff up and the way it introduces the characters like Herlock Sholmes and Beric von Zieks. Yeah, I like it a lot. Oh boy, guys, we're almost done. 5 more cases. Okay. The Adventure of the Blossoming Attorney. This is a Susido-only case. I would say it's pretty good. But would I put it above all of those other cases? I would say it's like right there. It's a very good case. I love how it focuses on Susido and her story when she departs for Japan. And I cannot remember the localized name of the villain of this case, but whoever he is, he's an extremely entertaining villain. I love him. And that is mainly because of the Pixel Partners. The voice that Evan gives this character is just great. Just Kronk voice. I love it. That is one of my main reasons that I love this case. I just love that character. He's very entertaining. Next we have Memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro. One of those two. This case gets hated on a lot for I can't really remember why it gets hated on, but A lot of people don't really like it, and I don't really agree with that. I even think it's better than its predecessor, The Adventure of the Clouded Kokoro. It has a lot of emotional aspects to it that I really like. With Viridian Green. I think her new name is Olive Green, but I prefer Viridian Green. Has a lot of emotional aspects. I like the final villain. He's pretty entertaining. Fake Spear. I think that's what Beric Van Zieks calls him at one point. So yeah, I really like it. Next we have the Return... Yes, the Return of the Great Departed Soul. Holy shit, man. Amazing. Peak Ace Attorney. One of the best cases. Cosmo's return is great. Beric Van Zieks in this case is great. The defendant is alright. But the connection that he has to Beric Van Zieks is great. A lot of this case is great. And the mystery is satisfying, and I cannot remember his name for the life of me, and I'm really upset that I can't remember his name. Hold on, let me look at my phone. Enoch Drebber. I love Enoch Drebber. I love his animations. I love his character. He's extremely entertaining every time he's on screen. So that's what I have to say about The Return of the Great Departed Soul. Now we have Twisted Karma and His Last Bow. This case is pretty good. I would say that it is, yeah, better than those, better than that one, better than the DLC. Yeah, I'd put it there. No, I'd put it there. No, I'd put it there. That's a good spot. Now, if I had never played this game, and I had just finished the first one, and you told me that later on in the story, Gregson would die, Beric Zieks was the defendant, and we had to go against Kazuma, I would call you fucking crazy, because that is a crazy-ass premise for a case. Gregson dying is extremely, like, that hits you in the heart when Gina comes in and she's all crying and just losing her shit. Like, and she says, the boss, he's dead. Like, you lose your mind, and it's just so emotional that he dies. But I think it's a really good choice that the game made. Really good writing choice. To really really bring up the stakes for the second to final case of this game. I also like Beric Van Zieks' character development here. It's very similar to Edgeworth's, but it's still great writing and very satisfying all the same. I like Daily Vigil. I like his character a lot. The prison warden, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He's also a pretty cool character, but I don't really feel much for him. And then, yeah, I think that's everybody that I can think of in the case. The case does kind of end in a really weird place. It ends in an investigation instead of a trial. That's pretty odd, but yeah. Now we have the resolve of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. In this case, it's almost the best. Well, yeah, you know what? It's almost the best. Like, for all the other cases in the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, you get this little picture of, like, the title card. But with this one, it gets serious. It's just a black screen, black background title card. The Resolve of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. It's serious now. I love Herlock Sholmes in this case. I love the fact that Mikatoba gets revealed to be Herlock Sholmes' partner. And it's not John Wilson. It's freaking Mikatoba, and he's been here this entire time. And that final dance of deduction that you have at the end of the game is so satisfying when it gets revealed that Herlock Sholmes has been acting like a freaking crazy person this entire time just to teach Ryunosuke how to get through deductions. Another thing I love about this case is Kazuma. I love Kazuma's character throughout both of these games. I love how he's shown to be this perfect role model in the first case of the first game, and then he dies, and then Ryunosuke goes on this journey, not really for himself, but he does it for Kazuma's sake. Even when he gets accused of murder in the first trial, he doesn't allow Kazuma to defend him. He has to, like, even Mikotoba says, hey, Ryunosuke, I know that you want Kazuma to defend you, but if Kazuma loses this case, he won't be able to go on his trip to Britain. Everything that Ryunosuke does is for Kazuma's sake, except for this case. In this case, Ryunosuke gets some character development, and he starts to realize that he wants to do this lawyer business, not for anybody's sake except for his own, and also for, you know, his clients. But he says when the case gets continued and Kazuma looks up and he gets hope, Ryunosuke says, hey, I'm not doing this for you, I'm doing this for my client. And that is one of the most powerful moments in this entire franchise. One of my favorite moments in this game, in this duology of games, and just one of my favorite moments in the entire franchise. So yeah, that does it for my tier list. And I also like the reveal that Clint Van Zieks was actually the professor, and it wasn't actually Genshin Impact Asogi. There's a lot I could say about this case, but I'm just rambling on at this point. You guys get the point. It's my second favorite case in the entire franchise. I love it. That's my tier list. Now let's go and rank the final game. The Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve is almost the best game in the franchise, but I still think that Investigations 2 is the best game overall. Nah, the soundtrack pulls this one over. The soundtrack of this game is fucking incredible. But yeah, I think these two are both really good sequels and really good games. It can honestly go either way, depending on the day and how I'm feeling. But yeah, that is my tier list. So this is my game tier list, and this is my case tier list. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, I would appreciate a like, a comment, or a subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one, whatever video that may be.